I can hear him, but very quiet. Oh, wait, Bill. Okay. Yeah, you're on mute.
I'm on mute and I can't get
There you go.
there we
Wait.
go. Yes. So we've just started the NWSOFA live YouTube account. And so if you do not want to see your photo on the live video that we put on our website that's going up there currently, just turn off your video. Thank you.
Well, hello, everyone. I am Cecilia, calling in from Chicago today, and this is Sorting Soup. We are so happy that you have made it today. Welcome. Thank you for being here. If you could, we'll get started. Oh, yep, there we go. So I'm your one of the co-facilitators. I'm from Eastern Illinois, Indivisible, down in KZ. But today I'm again, like said, I'm phoning it in. That's all right. So today we have Dr. Melissa, one of our other facilitators from Boston, and we have Dr. Chris, the other co-facilitator from down in San Antonio. We have Rebecca as our timekeeper and tech support, and Beth M as our vibe check and chat monitor. We have Merle and Boot Money as metaphysical support, and Boot Money is our shaman and philosopher general, gremlin general guy. And we have others that are here to help. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask in the chat or raise your hand.
And we have a giant PowerPoint. Or is it me? It's giant on my screen. There we go.
All right. So I see a lot of familiar faces, which is wonderful. And I also see some new faces, which is even better. So for the new folks here, Sorting Soup, thank you so much for coming. This is a group space that has two purposes. So we split our time roughly half and half, where the first half of our session we spend processing together as a group, the emotions and any sort of insights that we can gather related to current issues and events, because it is a fire hose that we are drinking from, and we realize that a lot of folks need a safe space to come and reflect on things. So that is how we spend the first half. And then the second half is, what can we learn? What can we plan? Or how do we strategize action items to help take any sort of action against everything that's going on to make life better? So those are the purposes of today, and we'll walk through the agenda in just a moment. This all started several months ago after a particularly lengthy coffee and conversations after hours, where people really just they expressed the need to go deeper on certain issues, decompress, really process those further, and turn those emotions into action. So that's why we're here. And we meet every Thursday at 5 o'clock Central. So you've made it. In terms of group norms, we will have a discussion portion of the agenda today. And during that time, you are more than welcome to contribute to the discussion. We just ask that raise your digital hand in order to get in line to make your comments. The way you raise your digital hand is by looking at your Zoom menu. There is a heart react button in the menu, you click that and then click raise hand. So that is how you raise your digital hand. And we ask that folks keep their comments civil and constructive, ideally solutions oriented, though that may be more of an emphasis during the brainstorming half of the agenda. We also ask that folks don't spam the chat. So if you send something once, that's usually sufficient. And also, in light of the fact that we are dealing with some pretty heavy stuff, because that's, the world right now, it may get a little too heavy. And if you feel like you need to take a break or do some deep breathing or step away, got to do what you got to do. And we encourage that. So, those are the group norms. The agenda today, our theme overall is, I've been noticing that several of the issues that we could potentially talk about are manufactured crisis situations. And it's always helpful in those situations to ask ourselves, who is paying the price? Who is really affected by these things, and who does the powers that be want us to think is causing the issue? So just something to think about. We will have more prompts, discussion prompts here shortly. As I mentioned, we'll split our time roughly equally, and in both segments, you will have the opportunity to take part in the group discussion, and you can do that by raising your digital hand like we talked about. Each speaker will have about 2 minutes to share. So out of courtesy for your fellow participants, please do try to stick with that. And if anyone is having difficulty sticking to that, that is unfortunately one of my roles as timekeeper, that I may ask you to wrap up. The good news is that you may speak multiple times. So if you have more to say, you can re-raise your hand and come back and speak again. So that's our program for today. So before we jump into it, I'm going to hand off to Cecilia to help us get grounded.
Okay. So again, I'm so glad y'all are here today. This is our space to come together and to share what's on our hearts and sort through whatever soup has been put in front of us. But sometimes that is messy, and sometimes it's nourishing, and sometimes it's both. But here we get to sort it out together. As always, this is a judgment-free zone, a come as you are, share as much or as little as you like. And remember that listening is just as valuable as speaking. So let's take a breath and settle in and get started. This is our Bardo breathing moment. Make sure that you have your feet settled or you are comfortable in your chair and are able to find stillness. Sit comfortably where you can hear my voice. We're going to inhale for a count of 4. Breathe in slowly. Imagine you are inhaling clarity. Hold gently, noticing the space between what was, and what's next. Now exhale 6 counts. Let the breath out slowly, releasing tension, stories, noise. One more time, breathe in slowly, in clarity. Hold gently in that space between what was and what's next. And let it out slowly, releasing the tension, the stories, and the noise. With each exhale, feel yourself resting more fully in the in-between, where possibility lives. One more time, breathe in slowly. Imagine you are inhaling clear blue sky. Hold gently. Notice this space between what was and is next. Let the breath out slowly. Release tension, noise. The bardo is the space between. Today we breathe into it together and let it guide us toward what we're creating next. All right. Let's step into this soup. This
Cecilia, do you want me to
manufactured
hit
crisis.
this?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So this is what I was talking about before, where it does seem like the administration is using or creating situations of crisis, and they seem to be doing that to sow division and create chaos. And so we were able to identify several of these crisis situations this morning in coffee and conversation. Obviously, a lot of us are thinking about the shutdown and the blame game and the disinformation that's being spread. And one of the outcomes of that is creating very us versus them thinking. So Democrats versus Republicans, citizens against immigrants, like just driving wedges between people. And we're already pretty far apart from each other. Other situations have to do with the tariffs that they keep layering on and making things more expensive and bailing out Argentina, which really they only needed a bailout because of the tariff stuff and their own and Argentina's own trade policies. And so bailing out Argentina put Argentina above our own farmers and agricultural interests here. And so what that does is it exerts more economic pressure and turns up the heat just a little bit on already vulnerable farmers and consumers who are just trying to buy stuff, buy their medications. And then the last crisis situation is around the war from within, that rhetoric that Trump and Hegseth were spouting when they were speaking to the generals earlier in the week, and also the way they're acting with deploying like the National Guard and ICE to cities And really, my theory is that that's meant to provoke a response, potentially a violent response or some kind of response where they can then in turn justify sending more people and further crackdowns. So all of this is really from kind of an authoritarian playbook. So we're offering this as some prompts for things that might be weighing on your heart right now. I know they're weighing on mine. If you have other topics or things that you'd like to share about, please feel free. And then this is the point in the program where we're going to encourage group participation. So just raise your digital hand if you have something to contribute, and that's what we've got for now. Nice. Couple of hands. Bruce, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, go ahead, Bruce.
What happened to the other person? Okay. I'm from Palm Beach County, Florida. Also home of 47. And let's see, I'm going to talk about the shutdown first. And yes, there's a good reason for a blame game. The Republicans knew for months that this was coming up. And Trump instructed the spineless Republicans in Congress not to negotiate with the Democrats. And the Democrats kept saying they wanted to talk, and the Republicans wouldn't until the very last minute. And the Democrats did put forth a proposal of what they wanted, which is basically to save health care. And the Republicans don't want to hear about it and are using disinformation. I heard Vance over and over again talk about this, that what the Democrats want is for, to put illegal aliens into for their health care. And that's not what this is about at all. A lot of Americans are going to lose health care, and especially with the premium issue on Obamacare, which will go sky high and they won't be able to afford it. So yes, there's a reason for a blame game, because the Democrats want to help save health care for all these people, and the Republicans don't want to hear about it. Now, what's the solution? Is we've got to put pressure on the congressmen, because, and especially if you're in a red state, to contact them, because they need to put pressure on Trump to get them to turn around. And yes, you can compromise. The Democrats don't have to get everything they've asked for, but they can compromise. And I do realize that there's also a lot more behind the Democrats. I heard Chris Murphy tonight. He's talking, about the whole situation with the steps of authoritarianism of Trump, and how can we go along with a budget for this type of an administration. Well, I understand that, but the bottom line is we don't want to keep the government shut down forever. And I think if enough pressure is put on them, they'll come to some sort of a resolution.
Okay.
And then is that 2 minutes?
I don't know. Rebecca?
Yes.
Okay, then I won't get to the other issue. That's fine.
All right. Well, we'll just wait for you to come back around. Thank you so much, Bruce.
I may not need to if enough people raise their hand.
That's true. That's true. All right, Deanna, you're up. Oh, where'd you go, babe? Oh, no, you need to unmute.
I'm talking and I was on mute. Sorry about that. I did the wrong button.
That's all right.
I was surprised because it's not really getting very much airplay or anything about the telehealth when it expired September 30th. And I think it caught everybody off guard. All of a sudden, my doctor called me in the middle of one of the trainings here, and they said we have to reschedule your Zoom meeting. It's no longer going to be paid for by Medicare, and unless Congress it expired September 30th, and until Congress puts it back in that they will accept it, you have to see your doctor in person for Medicare to pay for it, with very few exceptions. So just kind of throwing that out there, because a lot of us are older that are on the call and have Medicare now.
Is that
Yeah.
tied to the
It's tied to the
shutdown?
new bill. Yeah, because
Yes.
until they extend it or put it back in, it expired September 30th. So my doctor's office
Oh,
didn't
wow.
even know all the details, but we've researched it. And the word, it's just, I haven't seen it on the news. It's not really being talked about, but there is a few exceptions. So you're going to have to Google. There's some very minor exceptions, but they're trying to make everybody go in person now. So just throwing that
Yeah.
out there.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, I
I
tried to
have
put it on what do you guys use? The purple thing?
Discord.
Discord. But because I'm not an admin, so I put it in the sandbox. I couldn't see where I could post. So I'm
That's
just
okay.
wanted to share that information and get it out there. That affects a lot of people.
Yes. That is a very good idea. I'm not, the sandbox is where we mess around. That's the place where
I
you
know
can,
that's the only place I knew I could post. I tried to do under announcements, but I think you have to be an admin, or it didn't let
yes,
me post under the
yeah,
announcement.
you have to be an admin to post there, but that's okay. That's okay. We can find another place to put it. That's a great idea though. The urge to want to put it on Discord, that's the right idea. So we will find that the right place to put it and tell you where, and the next time you'll know where to put it.
Yes.
And, all right.
No, so I'm learning. So
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much. All right, Daryl, you're up. Oh,
I don't think we can hear you.
nope, I can't hear you. Can I?
You have to unmute,
You
Daryl.
have to unmute, Daryl. Can I
Still
cannot.
muted. You're
Maybe
still
you can
muted.
unmute him for him.
I can. Yeah, hold on. Daryl. There we go. How is that help? Did something pop up on your screen?
No.
Hear me now?
There we go.
Yes, there we go.
Okay,
Yeah.
now you can hear me. Okay, I got a couple of things. I got an email today from the VA, and Secretary Collins wanted to let me know what the shutdown meant for the VA as far as our healthcare is concerned. And the first one's pretty matter of fact. It says, as you may be aware, the funding for some government agencies, including portions of the government Department of Veterans Affairs, expired at midnight this morning. The next paragraph, however, is rather disturbing. It says President Trump opposes a lapse in appropriations, and on September 19th, the House of Representatives passed, with the Trump administration's support, a clean, continuing resolution to fund the government through November 21st. Unfortunately, Democrats are blocking this continued resolution in the U.S. Senate due to unrelated policy demands. That paragraph does not belong in the VA newsletter.
Nope.
The VA is supposed to be nonpartisan and not taking sides. They are definitely taking sides with Secretary Collins's little note there. And in the next paragraph is, again, during this current lapse in funding, the vast majority of VA benefits and services will be continued to be uninterrupted, but the government shutdown is not without consequences to the VA. And it lists a bunch of things such as telehealth and GI Bill hotlines and things like that that aren't going to be available. They will cease with public affairs and outreach for veterans. They will not permanently place headstones or maintain grounds of VA, National Guards, national cemeteries, and opposes process applications for pre-need burials will be stopped, and the need for presidential memorial certificates will no longer be processed. So the actual patient being seen and that kind of thing looks like they're continuing with that. But the other administrative type things and counseling and so forth, career counseling, that's being stopped right now. The next thing is, you mentioned something about Medicare stopping. My wife is in the middle of radiation treatment for cancer on her tongue. And we have about a week and a day left of that. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there as far as Medicare helping to pay for that. We have TRICARE for life because I'm retired military, so I'm hoping it won't affect us too much. But we'll have to wait and see when we go in tomorrow that they let us know that there's a problem or not with the funding and the insurance coverage. Then it comes to the Trump and Hegseth calling together 850 plus military leaders into one place. And I was in during Vietnam, and it was the saying, one frag will get them all, where you never put all the leaders in one place
Well,
because that was a perfect
yeah,
target for
I know.
any other nation. And it was announced well ahead of time.
Yeah,
It wasn't like it was a secret thing that they were all brought there. It was announced days ahead of time. Plenty of time for some sleeper cell to get in there with a gas bomb or any kind of explosive that could have done something, or send in a drone. So that was just this. They have no concept of security.
I
I
know.
had a top secret clearance when I was in the Air Force. I was in for 24 years. I handled millions of dollars worth of communications accounts and equipment, and I never took anything home. And I've got some friends that are in the military that have told me that they support Trump. And I told him when he took home the top secret things after his first administration, I said, how can you support him when you know if you had done anything like that, you'd be in Leavenworth right now?
Right.
So
Well,
it's just ridiculous.
sir,
And I'm really scared for the future.
I agree. And I think we all understand where we're at right now. And thank you very much for sharing. And
One
we're,
more quick thing, if I can, if I have
go ahead,
time.
Real
Okay.
quick.
real
One of
quick.
the things I've been doing is I've been putting together a no trespassing ICE agents signs for people to
Good.
put in their businesses. And it gives them on the front side, it says in big bold letters, no ICE agents allowed. And then it in smaller letters, it explains that no ICE agents are trespassed from this premises. And on the back side, it gives the instructions to the people if they are confronted with ICE, what their rights are. They don't have to speak to them. They don't have to let them in. They don't have to do a lot of things because they don't have, unless they have a warrant. If they have a judicial warrant, fine. And so I'm sending these. I'm giving to like nail salons, Mexican restaurants, massage parlors, all the different places that employ
Indivisible
questionably
is
immigrants.
doing something we're doing signs of solidarity, much the same. That is awesome, Daryl. Thank you so much.
And it also includes 53 different languages to help people understand that don't
Wow.
speak English. It's called a Red Card Project.
Yeah, we do
You
that
can
too.
Yeah, I use that as a supplement to this no trespassing sign. So it gives them
Okay.
all the information.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so
Thank you for my
much.
time.
All right. And Sabrina.
Hey,
Hi.
um, I'm good today. Yesterday was a little bit of a rough day for me. I'm a federal employee who was furloughed yesterday. And the funny thing is, I've worked for the Navy for well over a decade. So I was pretty calm, like coming up to it. Because I've been through shutdown countdowns and I've been through a couple of shutdowns, including the one that was 35 days. I have enough money that I think I'll probably be fine unless it goes on for an incredibly long time. But and I was working real hard to make sure I handed off all of my work to the uniformed officers that unfortunately are going to have to do my work unpaid now. And it was funny because I was good, I was getting things done, and I went to sign off and close my laptop, and I just started bawling. And I was like, what is wrong with me? It's a furlough. But the thing is, in the past, it's always felt, very political and not personal. And so I think this time because there's this threat that I might not have my job when I come back,
Right.
I think that was what really just, I was like, I haven't done anything to deserve this. And I don't think it's appropriate that the leader of our country is using me as a threat
As a
to it's not a good negotiating style, in my opinion. And I want to say one thing real quickly about the DOD SecDef conversation and the presidential speech. I know a lot of people want to know what those generals and admirals are thinking. Let me tell you, because I have worked for the Navy for well of a decade. I have briefed admirals and all this kind of stuff. I have worked with these people. They were like, wow, I cannot believe that I am working for this person. I cannot believe that I am smarter, more experienced, and better than this person who is the leader of the DoD. And I guarantee you, it, he sounded like a moron. And I'm sure pretty much every one of them thought that too.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thanks for listening.
Thank you. Y'all, I'm just going to tell you, Sabrina and I went to high school together, and I'm just so happy that she's going to be working with us. She works, she has her own podcast. And so she will be working with us in the future. And I am just so pleased as punch that you'll be getting to know her a little bit more. And I'm just happy that all of this is working out the way that it is. Anyway, all right, y'all.
Me too. Thank you so
yeah.
much, Cecilia. And also,
Yep.
FYI, that is a solution for all this free time I'm going to have.
Really?
Cecilia
Yeah.
gave me my solution. I've got stuff to do now.
Yes. I will give you plenty of stuff to do. That is too true, sister. All right. Dr. Melissa, you are up next.
Hi, thank you. I have to say, I have to pause a little because I realized from what Sabrina said, there are a lot of real world consequences to having a shutdown. And when Cecilia, you did the meditation at the start, I did feel like we're entering the bardo, or we've already entered it, but we're entering it further because a shutdown has happened. And I do think it's something where we have to hold firm on it because we are in such a dire circumstance now where we can't endorse that bill and what it represents. And yet we have to then respond to people who are going to be um, hurt by the shutdown. The other thing is that years ago, there was a shutdown when Clinton was president. I was working for the VA at that time, and I was an essential employee, so I had to work while I was not being paid. And we were paid a few months later. It was a 2-week furlough, 14 days, I think. Um, but my understanding is that vis-a-vis that announcement, that most services, the essential services, are provided. And then there might be some not people considered non-essential that are actually not working. But we didn't get paid anyway, and we had to still work. So, my understanding too is that the VA, for the most part, the services are paid a year ahead. Maybe not the salaries, but the services are paid a year in advance. So the VA is not going to go out of business for a year. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Miss Edith.
Yes, let me turn this stuff on. Hi, everybody.
Hi, I'm so glad you're here.
Hi, Cecilia. I was thinking, this administration, based on what you all said initially before this group process really got started, is that they're doing this on purpose to get a reaction out of people. And
Yep.
so why don't we just turn it around and not react? Why don't we I'm sure, how many of you are parents? I mean, if you react to what your children do, you're going to have hell to deal with. Why don't we just, practice the principle of forgiveness? Because I think it's the only way that we win this battle. I really do. I don't think that we can create enemies. Like, team one, team two, them and the us, I don't think that's going to really work.
You're
I
right.
really don't. I think that we have to be the bigger person and let go of our grievances because, when you discipline a child and they know that they did something wrong, they don't want you to condemn them or they don't want you to react harshly to them. They want you to have the child acknowledge what you did, and then, offer some consequences, well, you're going to have to wash the dishes all week or whatever you do as a parent. But I think most people want you to be to have a loving response rather than one that's mean or cruel or revengeful. I don't think that really helps. I know
Yeah.
it hasn't helped in my life.
Yeah. I agree. I don't think it's helped anyone.
So, I mean, if they send troops to the state or city, I would, if I was the mayor or the governor, I would tell everybody to embrace them with love, buy them coffee, offer sandwiches. I would make friends with them.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Offer
I think it's
flowers.
I think
Offer
it's
them flowers.
easier said than done. At least in my mind, I'm thinking about I've seen people in my local community
Excuse me,
arrest.
who's speaking? I thought it
This
was
is,
my time. So
well,
I'm reclaiming my time. Go
uh,
ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to be gracious. Go on. Whoever was speaking.
It was me, it was Rebecca. I was just offering some thoughts, but you're absolutely right. I interrupted and that was rude. You can go
Thank
ahead.
you, Rebecca. Thank you, Rebecca. But that's all that I wanted to share because all of this tit for tat stuff, I mean, they're doing it purposefully. We as adults know that that's what they're doing. And so, why don't we just turn it around and just not react to all of this stuff?
that is,
And I know that it's hard, but this is what we're being called to do at this time. Who else is going to do it?
I think that there are a lot of different circumstances. And you're right. That is an option.
Yeah.
Cecilia, do you mind
No,
if I
I don't mind.
respond?
Yeah, go ahead. Respond, Rebecca. Please do.
Okay. I just wanted to offer an alternative perspective because in some cases I don't see silence or welcoming as an option. And I'll give the example of ICE being in our neighborhoods arresting people. I've seen it firsthand, and sitting back and letting these things happen feels like allowing harm. So I think just framing it slightly differently, that um, not being provoked into violence may be the strategy, but I'm not in a mindset where I'm going to be making allies with ICE agents or offering them flowers or anything because they're perpetrating violence and violating rights. So that's my perspective.
Boot money.
Well, thank you for that perspective, but I understand that perspective, but I don't agree with it.
I'd like to just say something. This is Melissa, one of the co-hosts. I think you have a really interesting idea, Edith, and I agree with Rebecca that probably the ICE agents is not where we would apply that directly. There may be ways of doing that, but I can't think what that is right. But I think if they're when they bring troops in to the cities, which is to me very horrifying, I think Edith, it's an interesting approach that's kind of counterintuitive. It's paradoxical. And what they've been saying is that some of the places where the troops have shown up, or even National Guard or whatever, there are like street festivals going on and they just like buy street food, So I think that would be an interesting thing to do, not with the ICE agents who are, picking people off the street. But I think with troops coming in where they don't really have anything to do, they're wandering down Michigan Avenue, throw the street festivals and let them participate in that. Like, in other words, it kind of throws something in their way that's loving, caring, and ethnic and fun, and that acquaints them with the city, and it kind of undermines that their purpose in being there. So I think there could be ways to paradoxically do what Edith is saying. I don't know if that's what you're saying, Edith, but I kind of
Yeah,
could build off of that.
yeah. All I know is that when someone came into my house with a gun, they left my house as a friend. You don't have to confront violence with violence.
That's
Because
beautiful.
I would be dead right now if I'd done that.
Yeah.
That's
So there's
that's
more of a story behind that, and we should hear that at some time because I'm sure it's a really good model for us.
thank you. Thank you, Miss. Okay. Paul, you're up next.
I have some. First of all, thanks for answering I've been asking them what the Discord server was for a week now. Finally got the answer today. So I won't ask. But at this point, that if you want to befriend the military, give them money because they're not getting paid with the government shutdown. They have to serve, but they won't get paid until the government is back up and running. So I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of training in our blue cities because they're not getting paid to do it. The other thing I just read on Yahoo News that Trump's targeting the blue states that are the states that voted for Harris not get money. And my philosophy behind that is, well, blue states are the one that fund the government. So if he's gonna not withhold money from the blue states, and the blue states should hold money from the federal. But that's my thoughts on that. If the military is not getting paid during the shutdown, but they have to serve, they have families. They're people like you and me. They have responsibilities beyond the military. Some of them
Right.
don't.
Yeah.
I mean, my son was in there for 6 years, so he had responsibilities while he was in there, and once he got out, and if you're not getting paid for however many months this goes on, then what are you going to do? You're going to have to quit the military and find a job. But anyway, that's my thought on it.
Thank you, Paul. All right, Bill, you're up next. Sorry,
Hi, thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to make two suggestions of things that have come up from a lot of our discussions of how to help respond and build our efforts. Just like these meetings that are going to be repeated, I would like to encourage us all. This came up when Chris Murphy and Maxwell Frost were in the Dayton area. I'm in the Dayton area in Ohio. And we had 4,000 people, by the way, at the No Kings March. And if we could increase our numbers gradually, I'm convinced that it's civilian power, not the Congress or the Supreme Court and so forth, is probably going to help us reverse a lot of the deterioration we're having. And we need to increase our numbers as well as stay active. But in order to increase our numbers, I'm hoping that we can recommend at every rally for people to bring an extra person every rally, more than they are, and everybody you recruit bring an extra person. If the 4,000 people in Dayton recruited and we had a rally once or twice, hopefully a month, at least once a month, in about 5 rallies, we would have the entire population of Dayton attending. If people would just, it
Oh.
multiplies that way. Tell everybody at a rally to bring one more person and commit themselves to bring in an extra one every successive rally. That's suggestion number one. Suggestion number two, I am disappointed that we are not a little more organized at our rallies so that we know who's speaking and a lot of information. And I have found that there's a nice, simple, and relatively cheap way to get a QR code. You can make your own QR code for less than $3. And for $30, a group could commit themselves for a month to create QR codes for a whole region or across the country, Indivisible and other people, to do a QR code. And you can just make a PDF of your list of speakers, your list of mantras, song lyrics that you want to sing. If
Yeah,
I
we
had
do
a
that.
hammer or whatever you have, do a QR code. And there's a group, excuse me, there's a site called myqrcode.com. And for
Oh,
less than
cool.
$3, you can make a QR code,
You
and then
can
you
make
make
QR
copies of
codes
it,
for free.
put it on the post, yeah, or make your own, whatever, and just put the QR code on the the telephone poles around the rally, on the four corners of the rally, and that sort of thing. And everybody can have access right on their phone to all the speakers, the topics, and all the information you want. I just wanted to suggest that.
Okay.
Thank
Bill,
you.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome suggestion, but I don't want you to have to pay to make QR codes because
Hey, $3 is no big deal
You can do it for
Well,
free.
for national movement. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know.
I
For some,
did it for one,
for
but anyway.
some people, $3 is a big deal. But
Yeah.
yes, you're right.
Yeah,
Okay.
right. So anyway.
And Jennifer, you're right. Sometimes people don't know how to use QR codes, but that's where you can start a conversation, and that's where you can be like, hey, let me help you out. This just makes it so much easier it can take you from a picture to directly to a website. And sometimes I'm not saying all the time, because some people are scared of technology and all that stuff. I know. But on occasion, it can spark up a great conversation, and it can be the doorway, a pathway. So,
and double our numbers at every rally. That would be great.
yeah. All right, Miss Sharon, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Sharon from California.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
this morning you was talking about the military and the veterans. And so I Googled Project 2025. There are more cuts to come. Project 2025, the policy blueprint developed by the Heritage Foundation, will dramatically slash military families and veteran benefits if implemented. And they go on to say reduction in veterans' health care benefits. And someone mentioned try something, the insurance try something. Let me see. TRICARE. Let me see. Shutting down VA campuses. Reduction in service members' housing benefits. And some other things, but Google it, read it, because I think there's more to come. Also, I agree with the previous speaker. We need to be more active. Like I think he mentioned, we need to maybe have a rally, once a month or something, and get more people involved. And I mentioned last time, I got some phone calls into my Democratic Party, and hopefully we can talk before the week is out. Some of us don't want to participate in the rally. So like I mentioned, I'm trying to coordinate a food drive, and that would bring people out. And I did mention something to the last meeting about a QR code.
Yeah.
And we need to put like maybe an invitation to participate in Indivisible, just not what's going on at the rally, but let them know that we're here and there's something that they can do. And like, I think it was Lillian, someone that write the postcards. I commend you if you're on this line, and it's something I can't do because I was a social worker and I did a lot of writing and typing, and I have symptoms of carpal tunnel. So, I mean, I know your hands probably cramp up because I went through that, and, I'm seeing a doctor about it now. But take your time and just relax. But everyone can do something. If you
Yep.
get tired of doing postcards, maybe do the phone bank,
Yep.
the phone call. Now, I would do those things, but I've been doing it for 30 years and it feels like I'm working and I don't need that type of stress on me anymore.
I
You know
hear
what I'm
you.
saying? So I'm doing other things, but I am very active. I'm getting ready to go to the meeting with my elementary school board because we have a scholarship foundation and I'm a part of that. So I'm doing a lot of things in my community and like I said, we all could do something, but I think the best thing is let's not go down without a fight.
Okay.
Let's
I agree, Miss
go
Sharon.
down fighting.
We're
So I
gonna
get off.
not going down at all, girl. We're not going
Okay,
down at
well,
all.
I'm not claiming it. And one of the fight backs that Democrats can come back with is they need to start saying American citizens as far as getting medical and the medical benefits, because they talking about healthcare for everybody. And that's what
Yeah.
the Republicans are playing off on. Oh, we
Well,
want to give it to illegal aliens and immigrants and, but we need to be specific. And someone put in a little chart this morning. That's something that could go on the QR code when we're out there.
okay.
These are the people that are eligible for services, and these are the people that are eligible for benefits. So it's in writing. I'm a visual person. So when I see stuff like that, it's like, wow, okay, that was a good chart. And that's something that could go on the QR code to
That's a great,
offset the lies that they're saying. This is from the government. This is who's eligible. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
that's a
You
great
know,
idea. But
yeah.
Miss Sharon, I got a bunch of hands up behind you,
Okay,
and
I'm
we're
off.
about to
Okay,
transition.
okay.
That,
Take care. I gotta get
that's all
ready to
right.
go.
Thank you very much. Carolyn, you are up next.
All I wanted to say is like, whoever said like just ignore them, when they're saying the lies about it, that a lot many people aren't as involved as we are, and they only get their news from what the Republicans say. So that's why we have to say something to counter it,
Yeah.
because I listened to the press conference with JD Vance and Caroline Levitt, and she just kept hammering it home. The Democrats shut down the government. The Democrats, they want to feed everybody, or they want health care for everybody. And she kept saying illegal aliens, and
Yeah.
kept putting undocumented immigrants.
And they believe, and this is true, that if you say something over and over and over and over again, then people will believe it as truth. And actually that has been told, like learned out that has been.
So if we don't say anything, then that's all. Some people don't read the news or go online or anything. So the only thing they hear is what he's saying. So
Well, right now, 47% of Americans say Trump and Republicans in Congress are most responsible for the shutdown. 30% blame Democrats in Congress, and 23% remain unsure. So,
okay. Well, I just wanted to say, I mean, yeah, in regular life with like friends at work and stuff, I do let things pass to keep the peace and, try to get along with people. But in this case, it seems like we have to say something because some people, that's their only source of information. So I'm repeating myself, so I'm going to stop.
Okay.
Thank you.
May I just get a plug in here since she's talking about me? I didn't say not to say anything. I didn't say that. That wasn't out of my mouth. I said don't react.
Okay.
I don't know if she meant you, Edith, but I think
Yeah,
we're
she did, because that was the only one that made the statement
oh
about. So I
Yeah.
know it
no,
was
but a
me, but
lot
I
of
just
people
wanted
are
to
saying that.
correct the dialogue out there because we
Yeah,
can
thank
run with the
you.
false
Thank you.
dialogue. I did not say don't say anything.
Right.
Okay.
Just
Thank
want to
you.
clarify that.
Lynn. Oh, you're up next. Here, can you unmute?
Hi.
Hi.
I have to drop off for another call in like 1 minute.
Okay.
But anyway, I just wanted to reiterate that I believe that we do have to speak up when, like, I watched the JD Vance and his just continuous lies. I see the same marketing puffery, I call it, over and over and over again. And illegals cannot get access to health care because they don't have a social security number.
Hate to interrupt, but no one is illegal.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what?
Nobody
Oh,
is illegal.
Well,
I
I mean,
think
I'm using their words, so
yeah.
yeah, I say that's what they said. They say no, they said that illegals can't get health care, and that's what the Democrats are trying to do, give all the illegals health care, and they can't get it anyway because they don't have a social security number. And TALA does give them the opportunity in case there's an emergency or if they're pregnant. And I mean, for a so-called party that's supposed to be pro-life,
Right.
and why they would be against saving somebody's life or making sure that she has access to like health care when when a woman is going through a pregnancy and childbirth, and she's safe, and so is the infant. That's
No, it's such a wonderful question. And it's such a difficult question for them to answer too.
yeah, they don't answer that, and I always believe that I always retort back with receipts. It's like, yes, he did say that. Here is the video. They said that. This is what they said. This is what Charlie Kirk said. This is what so and so said. This is what Trump said in 2019 about XYZ. It's like, I love having those receipts because they can't. Then they don't know what to say back after. If you present them with facts and you have the receipts, then at least hopefully the critical thinking will click on eventually that they're being lied to, because I think a lot of them are starting to figure out that they've been lied to. Because one thing I've noticed is I don't see Trump stickers anymore on cars. I don't see flags anywhere. I don't see any. I don't see the people that used to have them up don't have them anymore. They're gone. There might be a few stragglers because they're brain dead, but yeah,
I still see them in my neck of the woods, but I live in a very red area of
yeah,
Illinois.
that's
So
unfortunate. Yeah, I have seen some around here, but a lot of them I see are gone, and I think there's some people that have um flipped, maybe have flipped the switch, saying like, oh, we don't want fascism. And I think going back to saying don't say anything, I don't think that's the answer, because that's how Nazi Germany started because they didn't say anything.
again, she didn't say don't say anything. She said don't react. That was her
Well, I think
differentiation.
Thank
what
you.
they want to say,
You're welcome.
because I think if we stay too peaceful, the same thing that's going to happen what happened in Nazi Germany. We have to say we will not tolerate this. We will not tolerate fascism. We will not tolerate abuse. We will not tolerate just kidnapping people off the street. We will not tolerate attacks on us, because they're supposed to be representing all of us in this country. Trump and the Republican Party, whoever is in office, is supposed to represent all the people, not just their side. And the fact that they're attacking all of us, just like what they did on the HUD website and said it's blaming the Democrats, that's a violation of the Hatch Act by doing what they did, because they cannot do organization, like if it's .org, you can't have a political affiliation or say anything about one of those. I can't remember exactly what the Hatch Act says, but you can't do that.
All right, Lynn.
They violated the Hatch Act by doing that. Anyway, well, No, I
Well,
want.
they have violated a lot of,
I know they violate everything, which is why
yeah,
we need to
they
get rid
blew
of
past
them.
a lot of rules and regulations. Y'all, we have also blown past our time. On brainstorming and whatnot, we were supposed to go and into brainstorming mode. And doesn't mean we're not going to listen to like go through all of our hands. So don't think that, but are we going to go through brainstorming, Rebecca?
Yes, let's.
Okie
So
dokie.
I shared the brainstorming slide. So we've got some thought starters here, and we've touched on some of these a little bit. So how do we call out shut down disinformation without repeating that message or amplifying the mis or disinformation? This next question is really close to my heart, I think, and some of the folks on here. There are people that are being affected by this, like Sabrina mentioned. How do we support them? Are there mutual aid actions like food drives, or I don't even know, like, and it's not just folks affected by furloughs, but ICE incursion into our neighborhoods. I know that we've got a pretty big immigrant population where I live, and they're too scared to leave their houses and go to the grocery store or the pharmacy. So we're arranging like grocery pickup or prescription pickup and delivery to their houses. So things like that. The tariffs, like how do we talk to folks about tariffs so that it connects with their real life? And then just the last, how do we make it clear that, you know, using military as against like domestic uh, resistance, like just citizens? How do we make that clear that that's unacceptable, and how do we mobilize against that? So that's some food for thought, and love to hear what folks think.
Yeah, y'all, I read an article the other day about how there's underground resistance at Catholic universities. They're finding because of everything a rise in underground resistance at Catholic universities because of what's happening. That's just something that is happening now in this world that we're living. Lisa, you're up next. Can you unmute? There we go.
All right. Hey, everybody. I am Lisa from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I just wanted to kind of talk about just the brainstorming, since you did put the question up. This one, how do we effectively call out shut down disinformation without amplifying it? I'm get a lot of information, and I'll put one in the chat. Kind of using the Freedom Over Fascism kits that ASO Communications has come out through the Research Collaborative, and with a Nat that's been talking about like how to talk about some of these things. And I've been personally going to different kind of narrative trainings. So because I don't want to repeat this, I don't want to be the person that repeats this stuff, but we have to respond to it. We have to, and when I say respond, I'm not talking about violence. And I know we've been using the word respond. I'm going to be very clear on what I mean by respond, of what my personal belief is or respond is that we have to be able to say it very clearly, call it out. I personally would not be making friends with the National Guard or ICE, because I think also too, as me as a community organizer, it also too, when I'm trying to lead people, it yes, we want to change their hearts, but sometimes you can create another kind of image also too, like you're cozying up, and then it makes people not think that you're really authentic in the fight. And so I think that there's a whole lot of different kinds of things when it comes to how we respond, and the image of responding. But of course, uh, I also believe that we need to follow the King model of nonviolence. I am a nonviolent person, even though I know the other side would probably want to rip me up and probably want to drag me out there. I saw a video of somebody, ICE going to, or some federal agents going to somebody's house that's going on social media because of some posts that they have on Facebook. Well, I'm gonna still put my posts out on Facebook. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. I have every right as an American citizen to be able to do that, and that's what my ancestor, my my ancestors who were enslaved fought for that, and I'm doggone it. I'm gonna do that right, and so, but I do think that we need to keep strong in that. We need to read about Dr. King. Please read Dr. King's last book, Where Do We Go From Here? Community or Chaos. A lot of the things and a lot of the tactics that we're doing is in there. And let me just say something also too, very quickly about protesting. Some of the, I don't have I'm not one who goes out and protests. But I am a community organizer. I'm like, okay, well, you do the protesting, you get the names. How are we doing the organizing to organizing them together? And how are we putting them into teams? And that's the infrastructure where I don't see that's happening on a broad basis so that we can figure out, okay, you work on this issue, you work on this issue so that we can bring people in for their passions into this work. And then how do we keep them engaged in the work? So I'll put that in the chat, the link I told you about.
Thank you. That was, I'm sorry, I got distracted by my daughter there at the end, but everything up to the very end there. Thank you so much, Lisa. That was amazing. Goodness, children distracting me from what I want. Hi, Dr. Chris. Thank you very much for coming in there and
hi.
saving me.
So what I wanted to do is before because I know we're kind of getting ready to brainstorm our call for action. I'm hearing feedback. Are you hearing that?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where the echo's coming from.
I think it's, I'm sorry, it's Stephanie. I think it's being caused because we have 3 participants in the same location and all of their devices are trying to connect and we're getting reverb. So it's going to happen and we're just going to have to work through it.
Yeah, I'll just do the best I can.
Maybe somebody mute that person.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna try again. So I just, as we're transitioning and moving to the phase of this session where we focus on calls for actions and things that we can do, I just wanted to start by saying, if this bill, if we don't get some of the demands that the Democrats made in when they've had the discussions with Trump, people are going to die. And that's why, some are even calling this the death bill. So the big bad bill, serious implications. There are people that are going to be homeless. There are millions that will lose their health care. With the government shutdown, we have, thousands of people that are not getting paid as we speak. You met one of them on the call who, Sabrina, who had that very emotional reaction where we know that normally shutdowns, are fairly short. We can usually survive them, but we're in unknown territory here. And that's one of the reasons I think we're all part of Indivisible is, we know what we've got to, this is peaceful resistance. And I wanted to also emphasize that because I heard earlier in the call that it sounded like there were some perceptions that some were calling for violence. So I just wanted to clarify, not with Indivisible National. So Indivisible National has been very, very clear. This is peaceful, strategic resistance. And that's why we're pushing back. That's why we're having protests. That's why we're, writing letters to editors. That's why we're calling our representatives. And some of those things are I put in the chat, there was a call last night specifically on healthcare where they have specific calls of action because I know we're getting kind of short for time. And as we're transitioning to that, but the point that Rebecca made about mutual aid, there are people that are going to need our help right now. There is no money coming in to their families as a result of the shutdown. So anyway, okay, I thought I'd just do that as kind of a segue as we move towards the calls to action. And ideas that you have for things that we can do.
Melissa, do you mind if I skip you real quick and move to
Oh,
Bruce?
yeah, you can skip me. Go ahead.
Okay, Bruce, you're up next.
Oh, okay. I was going to address brainstorming. My
good.
thoughts are, and some of these have already been addressed, we've got to get the message out to the people that don't watch MSNBC or CNN and have people who are strong on the issues go on right-wing media, whether it be podcasts, whether it be TV stations, both. And social media. We can all post on social media and not just our own page, but go to other sites. You know, we have the threads, we have Blue Sky, we got X even. People on X, well, some say, well, I won't go on X because it's Musk. Well, there are a lot of other, Amy Klobuchar, I think, is even on X. But the bottom line is that's one way to get through to people is for them to see the arguments. And when lies are being stated, such as about the reasons for the shutdown, that needs to be called out. And it's got to be stated loudly and by a number of people. And the messaging needs to be consistent. I heard tonight that some of the messaging is not consistent, but we need consistent messaging and people, but all of us can participate in this. We've read, or I've read, a lot of different opinions from people like Robert Reich, for instance, and they say, when you're facing these type of situations where we're headed to a dictatorship, it's the public that has to stop it. We're the ones who can do it, and we need to get active and a lot of us are active, but we need to keep being active and put pressure on the politicians, and maybe there'll be good results. I mean, it happened with Kimmel, it happened with Gates. We get some successes, some in the courts even, at least at the lower level. So those are some of the things that I have in mind.
And we even, for the most part, turned away the National Guard from Chicago. That
for the
was
moment.
For the
he
moment.
He keeps saying he's going to send them.
Yeah, he does. And so hopefully, but if we keep, if people keep showing up to protest in Chicago, the way and in the numbers, the way that we did, I have a feeling he will, if we keep if we keep drawing attention to it, is what I'm saying. But thank you, Bruce. I agree. 100%. Melissa.
You can go ahead to Larry and Adrian. I'll keep my hand up.
All right, Larry.
There we go. Took me a while to get unmuted. To Bruce's point, I agree, and I think we may have found a tag for the whole mess. The Democrats are trying to protect us from Trump's death panels. If you remember the old death panel ranch, that ought to become a part of our message.
Hey.
And as far as other messaging, I don't know if anybody knows that the Jolly Ginger on Substack.
Yes.
He is, I think he's in Seattle, but I'm not sure. And he is blasting out at the National Guard post General Milley's speech about you don't take an oath to a king, you don't take an oath to an individual, you take an oath to the Constitution 24/7, just over and over and over again. And and then a quick one for Bruce, new book out a couple days ago by Lisa Graves, I believe, and it is about Roberts, Justice Roberts, and 40-year plan to destroy the Constitution.
Whoa.
And it was kind of it makes a lot of sense. And with that, I'll say goodbye and good evening. Thank you.
He's only been on the court 20 years.
Yeah,
Well,
but
he had
he goes back to Reagan days. And he's only been on 20 years. You are correct. But his whole process started 40 years ago and headed in that direction. And
Yeah, I've heard that that's where he got this unitary executive theory from way back before he was a judge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hank, did you have something you wanted to put into the conversation? All right. All right. Miss Adrian, you're up next.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to remind everyone that it's not just the federal workers. As Rebecca pointed out, a lot of people have been suffering, unable to take their kids to school, unable to go to work, unable to get groceries. And so there are already potential groups and systems in place. I encourage everybody, if you want to exchange ideas or build out our mutual aid plans, Discord is a great way to connect. There may be other groups that are already up and functioning in your geographic area, so all of that is worth checking out. But in the meantime, ways that you can actually help people, and it's a form of protest, social aid, mutual aid, are forms of protest. Go hold some babies in the NICU, go help people file late taxes, go make lunches for kids who don't have them, go watch a playground. We had some safety issues here in my direct area for a while where they just needed extra parents to kind of staff the perimeter, not to engage with the kids. So there are so many ways to get involved that, don't let anything stop you. Find something that you enjoy doing and would get satisfaction or fulfillment so that you can keep going with the movement. Protests are not the only thing. So thank you.
Yes, protests are not the only thing. We need to have a multi-pronged solution so that we are all, because there's so many pieces to this puzzle, y'all. We all have a part to play in this. And we all can't make it to protests all the time. And why would we all want to just go to protests all the time? That would just be one thing all the time. All right, Miss Melissa, are you up now?
Yes. I wanted to respond especially to the last one about the risks of using military as a domestic police force. And I have to say, I agree with, and I forget, sorry, I'm getting people's names confused, but that we should not speak up. And I agree that no one has said we should not speak up. I think there may be multiple paths we need to take. So right now we can do on the 18th, hopefully, our protest, the No Kings 2. I think there may come a time that we cannot do it safely. It may be prohibited. We may have police in the street. If we do, I do think there are alternates like Beth M's vigils. I think we could do candle vigils. That's been done in other countries where protest is prohibited. Also, because this came up, that I like the food drives, not just the donations, but to have public food drives, music festivals, food festivals, cultural festivals in the streets, and get permits for those things. And then we can symbolize them. I mean, there's something like that every year in Lawrence, Mass, where it's the Bread and Roses Festival, but they do promote and advocate for different causes. And so even if it goes underground a little bit, which might happen, I think we still have to speak out and support And then we have to figure out who needs the food, we need some organization about who is being affected by the shutdown and how can we step in so that it isn't just the Republicans going like, oh, we'll help you because those Democrats for that.
Yeah.
But I have to say also, Catherine Clark is calling it the Republican shutdown, and we just need to say that over and
Yeah.
over. Okay, and that's it.
Jolly good, Ginger, him doing that, I have to admit, my Democratic chair sent us that recording of General Milley's speech on Monday night, or no, over the weekend, and with an email stating that this would happen, that this week would be like this, and that we would need to be playing it on Tuesday. We would need to be putting it out on our socials, and we would need to be putting it out over and over and over again all week long, and just be, kind of just pushing it. And yeah, I mean, he called it, right? I mean, just that's what we need to do. Just kind of remind them of their oath. Yes. All right, James, you're up next.
Thank you. I'm from Northwest suburban Chicago. It is my first time on this call. I have a question for the leadership on this call.
Welcome to the soup. Thank
you. Is there any connection of this organization to the National Democratic Party?
Not.
Is there
No.
any way that this organization provides feedback of the call or does an analysis of the call and raise some issues about what was discussed, what was the general demeanor, what were some of the suggestions? So is any of that gone over at the end of the call and summarized in any way that could be of value?
Well,
I'll chime in that we have not this call,
right?
but we have another project that's been in the works for a couple of months. It's called Vision Forward, and it's been essentially trying to come up with some guidance or a strategy that applies not only to our Democratic leaders, what kind of behaviors and messaging we would like to see from them, but also guidance for us as individual activists, how we should conduct ourselves as members of an opposition party, but also people desirous of positive outcomes. So we're not just against everything, we are for things, and we've identified those. And so the outputs of that project, we are nearing the end of that project. So the outputs of that project are being leveraged or taken by certain members of this group to their local representatives. So, but I would say the majority of that project is intended to be used at the grassroots level. So us as individuals, how we communicate with our neighbors and our fellow, neighbor people in our communities, and it informs our activism. So
Nelson, can you speak up for a moment, please? Can you unmute? Are you at work? I'm
Cecilia,
sorry. We do have after call. Okay. We do, James, to answer in short, your answer, we have one member on from the D that is a member, but he's at work right now, so he cannot unmute right now, but he'll talk to me after the call, okay?
Actually, Cecilia, I'd like to add to that, just just to clarify the question. I think Rebecca stated it very well. We do have another group that we are, some members in this group are interfacing with their representatives. So for example, I'm one of those people. So I'll be meeting with Greg Kassar tomorrow, actually. And I talked to his staff for about an hour today, and his communications director. because part of that project has to do with just wanting, simple, clear platforms, focus on things like kitchen table issues and very, very clear messaging from our representatives. So I spent about an hour talking to one of his staff members today about that. And a lot of what I get comes from this group. I mean, it's basically grassroots feedback of what we'd like to see from our representatives. And I'd be happy to, if you want, just message me and I can send you information on that project. And it might even be something that you might want to share with your representative. I'm not really sure where you are. Yeah,
He's
but we
in
can.
the northwest side of Chicago.
Okay, great. I'll put my contact information in the chat and you can get in touch with me.
Thank you. Thank you. I must say that I have sent rather detailed suggestions regarding a national communication strategy to my Representative Raja Krishnamurthy and to my two senators. And in each case, about a month later, I get back a form letter that didn't address a single thing that I raised. And I think it's just typical of the lack of urgency that is seen in the situation we're in today as a democracy. So I'll leave it at that, and I appreciate the time.
It's understandable, James. Thank you so much. Well,
Can I just pipe in on that too? I wonder, Chris, if we're going to have another meeting for Vision Forward, if James would like to join us, because maybe his vision will merge with ours.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'll reach out to him and we'll connect. Yeah, definitely.
All right, I need to sign off now, so thank you for your time.
So James, you have my contact information. I put it in the chat. So I just want to make sure you saw that it was there because I don't
All
have
right,
your.
let me find that. There we go. Okay. Okay, I will find that. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
It in your phone number, Chris, that you put in there. Just
what's that?
You're missing a digit in your phone number that you typed
No,
out.
I am. Sorry. So it's 210-393-8147. Chris. Okay. Thank you.
Okay,
Sabrina.
thank you.
I just want to do a quick plug for the federal employees that are currently working, the military people. If you want to help them out, there is something real basic you can do. Be nice to them when you interact with them. TSA, they are going to struggle the longer this goes on. It is hard. It is bad for them. Like I said, I've been through this before. So just be nice. Anytime you are interacting with the federal workers, just be nice to them. They're stressed.
Okay, thank you. That is a very, very good reminder. Y'all, this has been an incredibly spicy stew, a nice little soup. My goodness. Honestly, y'all, every single time we come together, we have a really lovely conversation. We learn new things from each other, and I love the openness, the vulnerability, and what we learn more and more from each other each week. I'm looking forward to everything that we learn and what we build, what we come to build together in the future. I'm excited, y'all. I'm excited to see where this goes. So I hope that the rest of your day is going to be peaceful. Find some peace, and especially for with everything going on. Okay, with everything, just find some peace today. And we will see you next Thursday at 5 o'clock. All right, and yeah. Have a really wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day, y'all. Thank you so much.